Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litza. Today is October the 1st, 2023 and it is reveal day for the Fall in Love collaboration. Now, what is the Fall in Love collaboration? I'm sure most of you know. For those of you that don't know, it has been hosted by 5 of our very, very lovely yarny friends. Cassandra at Craftably Ever After, Caroline from Caroline for the Love of Crochet, Julie from KS Mum Crochets, Mimi makes keepsakes, and the lovely Strawberry Bonnie Crochet. Now, they put out a challenge, and of course I accepted the challenge to fall in love with crochet again. If you've lost your crojo, to fall in love with a yarn that you may have always been scared of or wanted to try, to fall in love with a pattern that you've always wanted to make but always hesitated, or just to fall back in love with, the whole season of autumn and create something with that vibe. But of course, that is for all of our friends in the northern hemisphere. But down here in the southern hemisphere, it's springtime, so I'm calling it our Spring in Love collaboration. But of course, if you want to see everybody's makes, you need to put in the hashtag Fall in Love. Now, make sure that if you haven't already done so, you go and visit all of the yarny friends that I've just mentioned who are hosting this collaboration and see all of their wonderful makes. Some of them have made more than one. I'm sure you will enjoy each and every one, and it has been a lot of fun. Now, I instantly knew what I wanted to create because it's something that I watch a lot of our yarny friends make, including Julie at KS Mum Crochets and of course our lovely friend Rebecca at Yarn and Pyjamas. Now, if you know them, and if you don't, please visit them, you'll know that I'm talking about a gnome. So here's my little gnome. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. Now, she's giving off spring vibes with her little tiny flower there. I love her little plaits. Now let me tell you, I'm just going to pop her on my little iPad. She sits perfectly flat, and that's because I've been paying attention every time Julie or Rebecca have created a little gnome, because they also have little gnome collaborations, which I'm sure you'd enjoy watching. They always put a little base in the bottom. Now, because this is a toy and doesn't have to be washed, I did use cardboard. Oops, that was a little bit loud. And I've also used some stuffing. But before I go ahead and tell you about the pattern, because it is an amazing pattern and you have to visit this yarny friend of ours for the YouTube tutorials, I actually used scrap yarn. So this is a great scrap buster. I've decided, making little gnomes. One day I'd like to make a bigger gnome using velvet yarn, but these little gnomes are gorgeous. Here I am talking like I've made hundreds, just one, but the experience was actually so much fun and less overwhelming than I thought it would be. Now, this is the yarn that I use. I absolutely love these colors, and this is about a 10 ply yarn. And I also used a little scrap of yellow and a tiny, tiny little button. I've got so many buttons here, and it was just so easy to find one to pop on there. But of course, you don't need to do that. Now, I opted to make this a girl, and I think that's, generally a girl gnome has plaits, so I've got her little plaits on there. And look at this, she's even got little thumbs, guys. I don't know if that's normal for them all, but I just absolutely loved that she had that. I love the way she turned out. So her hat is filled a little bit, so I put a little bit of fiber fill in there, but the top isn't, so you can bend it either way. And of course, her little body is filled. Now, how did I create her? Because as I said, before I made her, I was terrified of making a gnome. I don't know why it felt so overwhelming to me. I guess the fact that you have to sew on quite a few bits, but in the end it turns out you make a body and a hat and then 2 little arms and a nose. So you don't have that much to sew on, and it is a little bit forgiving, this pattern, because the arms and the nose are tucked in under the hat. So when you sew them on, although you need to be careful and neat, you don't have to, stress out too much, including the beard or her little plaits, depending on what style you make her. And I'll talk to you about that with the YouTube tutorial. Now, of course, I need to practice my sewing a bit better, but overall, I'd say she turned out pretty cute. So I'm very, very happy with her. I'll just pop her down because I need to tell you about the YouTube tutorials that I use to make her. If any of you haven't already met Nova over at Nova Gnome Creations, please go and visit her. She is such a beautiful, kind human, and she has so much content and a lot of tutorials. Now, I found her beginner-friendly gnome tutorials, so her basic gnome tutorials, to be amazing. There are 3. So the first one shows you how to crochet the body. The second one is the hat arms and the nose, and then the third one is the beard and the assembly of the gnome. Now she gives you a sewing version and also a hot glue gun version, how to attach all the little pieces. She gives you ideas on how to put on the beard if you want it just a yarn bead, or if you want to brush it using a beautiful pet brush. And she also shows you how to split the yarn if you want to with like a darning needle. So she gives you all those versions. Now included in her videos, she also has other gnomes that you can create as well. But I needed a basic gnome tutorial, and let me tell you, I enjoyed every moment of her tutorials. She was very thorough in explaining it. She dumbed it right down for someone like me who was a total beginner at gnome making. By no means am I a beginner in crocheting, but the fact that she brought it right back down to basics was amazing. I enjoyed each and every video. I watched them all from beginning to end, even though there were some things that I could have fast forwarded. I just wanted to hear all her tips and tricks as well, because she has a lot of them on there as well. So if you're looking for even if it's not a gnome that you want to create, if it's amigurumi that you're hoping to delve into and create, I highly recommend watching Nova's tutorials, especially this one. So since then, I did go back and see some of her other ones. That's how I got the idea for the plaits, for the girl gnomes. So it was all, just awesome to know that in future I can go back in there and create other gnomes using her basic body shape or her basic gnome tutorial and then adding to it. The other thing that I loved is that I didn't have to go off a pattern, because I know that a lot of gnome makers that I've seen, as I said, Julie predominantly and Rebecca predominantly, they usually go and buy a pattern for it, but I didn't feel that I was ready for that. But I wanted to be part of this challenge, this collaboration, and when I stumbled across this tutorial, I could not have been happier. So as I said, highly recommend that you watch Nova and her tutorials, and please go and visit our 5 hosts for this amazing and very fun collaboration. I will definitely be curious to see what other makers have added to the hashtag Fall in Love and see what their creations are. But my one, as I said, has a little spin to it, being a little bit more spring. I could have added more things on it, but I just wanted to keep it simple so that I could get it finished. And to my surprise, I finished it in 3 sittings, which was awesome. Basically, each video as I finished, I was able to complete. So let's guesstimate, because I did pause quite a bit in the videos, maybe 6 hours, which I think is pretty good for someone that's never made a gnome before. Like I said, I absolutely love all the details, including the little thumbs, and I will certainly be making more in the future. Like I said, I'd like to try the same tutorial but with velvet yarn, and I don't know how big can gnomes get, guys. I know generally they're really little, but it's so much fun. So happy to let you know that if you are looking for something to create that you've never made before, challenge yourself. It's never too late to join in the collaboration. It's always out there. Just do it, guys. Make something that you've always wanted to make but were worried about. Don't let anything scare you. That should be our motto. No fear. What's the worst thing that could happen? You just have to rip it apart and start all over again. Maybe there's a yarn you've always been scared of. I know a lot of those novelty yarns, sort of put the fear factor in me because I worry that I won't be able to see them. Or just, if you've lost your crochet, maybe this is the time to get back to it and fall in love with crochet again. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. thank you to all our hosts and to Nova for helping me along. And thank you to my little gnome, because now she's in my collection. So hope you're all well. Take care, and I shall see you all again in another video. Bye bye for now.